A lot of offense today and a lot to talk about here on Fantasy Football Today, presented by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Winners, losers, big-time quarterback injuries, but Jake Browning may not be as bad as you think. And there were 3 wide receivers that scored at least 36 fantasy points in PPR this week. Woo! That did happen twice last year, but didn't happen until week 14 last year. Welcome to the show. Dave and Heath are here. Jamie will be joining us shortly as he is on his commute home from the studio, from the office. So who's QB1 right now, guys?
Drake May?
Wouldn't it be Jared Goff?
It would be Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Start of the week. Who's
Start
RB1?
of the week. Good job, Jamie.
Who's RB1?
Jonathan Taylor had a big game.
Ken Walker.
It is Jonathan Taylor. Dave, you're on fire. Who's wide receiver 1?
I'm getting some stuff right. Who's wide receiver 1? Who's Malik Neighbors?
Jamar
No.
Chase.
I know who it is. Sun God.
Yeah, I'm on Ross St. Brown. Partial credit for Dave.
Dave doesn't get that one right. No, you don't get 2 guesses.
I got it
Zero
wrong.
credit.
Okay.
0% credit.
But he knew it immediately. Who's tight end 1?
Juwan Johnson?
Bannon.
You're out of time. It's Tucker Kraft and Zach Ertz. And Jake Ferguson.
They don't count.
Thursday, guys. Who was number 1 today?
Jake Ferguson.
Juwan Johnson?
Jake Ferguson. Hello. This thing on? Juwan Johnson's number 2. All right. So there really is a lot here. And it's kind of one of those days where I just felt a little overwhelmed by all of the happenings. But let's just get a big winner and big loser here. Also, I've been told not to read the chat. Apparently, people are angry today. People are angry, Heath. Is that what we're seeing?
People are very, very angry. Yes. So last week was a positive week in the chat. I will tell you, I was here a little before you guys were, and I was reading through the pre-show chat, which they thought was the on-time show chat. And they were blaming Adam for having too many virgin strawberry daiquiris, blaming Dave for Jerry Jeudy, which thank goodness I'm not getting blamed for that. And lots of blame to go around.
Okay. Well, let's start with the positive here. Dave, who's the biggest winner this week?
I think you've got to give it to Jared Goff and anybody on the Lions. They just absolutely outclassed Chicago. Their offense was way more creative and way more aggressive than what we saw last week. And they played an easier opponent, and they were at home. So I think it was expected that they were going to do well, but I mean, everybody got a piece in that offense. So if you started a Lion, good for you, but Jared Goff, the biggest winner of them all.
Well, Sam Laporta didn't really get a piece, but everyone else ate. So Jared Goff, 46% started, goes for 44 fantasy points. Heath, who's our biggest loser this week?
Oh, man, I was getting all ready for the second biggest winner. I don't follow this programming very well. So I will go with
winner. You want to go for it?
No, I'll give the biggest loser. I'll steal one of Dave's since Dave stole one of Jamie's. TreVeyon.
Okay.
Dave put TreVeyon Williams in our group chat, and it might as well be TreVeyon Williams because 3 carries, 2 receptions. We don't need to know his name right now.
It's TreVeyon Henderson, Heath, not TreVeyon Williams.
No, but you put TreVeyon Williams in the text message. That's what I was
didn't.
talking
I'm
about.
reading it right here. TreVeyon Henderson.
So you just edited it. It hasn't edited on my screen yet. But anyway, the problem is not the fact that TreVeyon got 5 carries. It's the same problem that RJ Harvey has, is that the guy that's the veteran ahead of them was awesome. Ramondre Stevenson had one of his most impressive games, certainly of the last 18 months, if not his career. Looked spry in the passing game, was evasive in the running game, and they had no need to turn the reins over to TreVeyon Henderson. And coming into the game, it was pretty clear on the first drive, they had no intention of turning the reins over to TreVeyon Henderson because he was the third back to come into the game. I think I saw a tweet from somebody. I don't give you credit. Sorry. It's win number 1 out of 117,234 for preseason depth charts. TreVeyon Henderson really is third on the depth chart.
He played 29% of the snaps.
That's not good.
Once again, a 3-way split between the Patriots running backs. Ramondre dominated those 65% of the snaps, 9 of 12 on third downs, 2 and 5 inside the 10. Okay, so maybe TreVeyon Henderson had 3 of 5 inside the 10. Nope. Antonio Gibson also had 2 of 5 snaps inside the 10. So I think we're in a holding pattern on TreVeyon Henderson having a breakout.
Yeah, I think you got to throw RJ Harvey in the mix too. As Heath said, sure. I think we probably have more faith in J.K. Dobbins than Ramondre Stevenson. Stevenson facing the Dolphins was a good thing. Stevenson set a career high with more than 80 receiving yards today, but he also ran the ball effectively. But Dobbins now 2 straight games with 14 to 16 carries, 2 straight games with a rushing touchdown. And RJ Harvey, splitting with Tyler Bidet as well. And Harvey gets 6 touches. He had 7 last week. He had 6 today. He has 2 touches. I don't think you're dropping RJ. I mean, you're not in a 12-team league. You're going to wait. Are you going to drop RJ Harvey or TreVeyon Henderson in any leagues?
It hurts too much to do. So no, but I don't see how you can start them.
Josh says it was Ian, so good tweet, Ian. Thank you. If the chat could just cite my tweets from now on, that'd be fantastic. One of my believe it or nots was going to be that RJ Harvey is droppable in a 10-team league. And I don't really want to. I also want to make some sort of joke about how Tyler Bidet and RJ Flush or RJ Swirl, but I don't think that works.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, look, we're going to be patient here as best we can. It is frustrating, though. Henderson started in 63% of leagues. Harvey started in 37% of leagues. All right. So that's big winners and losers for you. Big winner is always BetMGM. It is time for football at BetMGM. Register with BetMGM to get instant access to the best variety of parlay selection features, no sweat and boost tokens, live betting options, and much more. And there's a great offer for you. New players can receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets with the bonus code FANTASY if they don't win their first bet. You don't want to miss out on any of the hard-hitting action at BetMGM. Place your money line, parlay bets, and more today. BetMGM, make it legendary. And the bonus code is FANTASY if you want to support our show. All right, let's get to the news and notes. And I didn't see any major running back, wide receiver, or tight end news, unless I'm missing something. But the quarterback news is obviously quite significant. Joe Burrow reportedly has turf toe, so he left in the first half. Jake Browning came in and did pretty well. In fact, he made 7 starts in 2023, and Jake Browning scored 23 or more fantasy points in 6-point per passing touchdown leagues in 5 of those 7 starts. He was on pace for over 4,500 yards. He averaged 8.2 yards per attempt, which is insane. He throws interceptions, so that's a problem. And he threw, 2 or 3 today. But it's got
a it sounds like you're saying Joe Burrow's overrated.
Jake Brown hearing track record of picking up where they left off. He scored 21 fantasy points today, and Jamar Chase had 14 catches, 165 yards, and a touchdown. Higgins is a little bit lucky to get his production, but all right, Heath, your reaction to the Joe Burrow injury, and then we'll get into Justin Fields.
Well, I'm glad we're going to talk about both of them at the top of the show because I started both of them in a super flex league against Jacob Gibbs and probably going to lose that matchup. It's a weird situation because Browning seems capable of keeping Chase and Higgins afloat. And you would think if one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL was going to miss time, we would be seriously downgrading their wide receivers. I don't think anybody's sitting Jamar Chase with Jake Browning. I don't think you're probably sitting T. Higgins. He went from I'm very early in my week 3 process, but he went from wide receiver 12 to wide receiver 22. You're probably starting him as well. I think maybe the real problem here, and somebody in the chat said it because apparently he drafted him in all 5 of his leagues, is Chase Brown has 92% of the Bengals, not running back rush attempts, total team rush attempts. And it's still not turning into great production. And I'm not sure anybody's scared of Jake Browning. So I'm worried about the efficiency for Chase Brown. We're probably still starting him too. So probably the true answer is it's irrelevant. Start everybody you were going to, but they're not going to be as good as they were.
Okay, we're drafting again today. Well, I'm gonna wait until we get a little more information on Joe Burrow. Could be a long.
How cursed is the fantasy world that we lose 2 quarterbacks in the first 2 weeks of the season to turf toe?
Oh, Brock Purdy, right? Yeah, it's tough. It stinks. Justin Fields left in the 4th quarter with a concussion. Hopefully he's back next week. They're at Tampa Bay. Dave, is Tyrod Taylor any different? I remember when he got hurt, when Fields got hurt in training camp, everyone was going, kind of the same guy, right? It's maybe not a huge deal for Garrett Wilson. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think Tyrod Taylor is better than your typical backup quarterback, but it's not like he's Mr. Accurate by any stretch of the imagination. And it would make me nervous to have high expectations for Garrett Wilson. It's the same thing as it would be with any team that has an above average backup quarterback. Okay. I think it's fair to say that the Bengals have an above average backup quarterback. So you're going to lower expectations for Chase and for Higgins, but you're not going to like throw them in the tank. We're not going to call Jamar Chase a number 3 receiver. And so with Tyrod Taylor there, it's going to lower expectations for Garrett Wilson. Probably more likely as more games like he did this week and less games like he had last week.
The one things that I want to make sure people hear is like, we are excited to start Justin Fields usually when he's starting. Tyrod Taylor's probably going to run for a third of the yards as Justin Fields. Like he's averaged 3 yards per carry over the last 4 years. So he's still run around a little bit and probably throws similarly, and maybe not a big difference. Maybe it's a little better for the running backs. I don't know, because he doesn't run quite as much, but he's not somebody that we're going to pick up.
Yeah. And
we
we don't
get
even
a good comparison of Fields versus Taylor and some of their passing metrics over the last few years, if you're interested.
I did this a month ago, whenever it happened, and Taylor was arguably better. They were very similar, and we don't even know that Taylor's going to make a start. Right? It could be
right.
Maybe Fields bounces back and he's ready for Tampa Bay. But the other part of it was Justin Fields threw for 56 yards and had an absolutely horrible game, and he played enough of it.
Yeah, no, he was terrible.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. Tyrod Taylor threw for 56 yards. Fields threw for like 27 yards.
But he ran for 49, so it's okay.
Okay. Some more news and notes. Again, really nothing in running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Kyle Juszczyk, fullback for the Niners. He left with a concussion. The Niners also lost Ben Bartz, their left guard. They are just, so injured, and 2-0. And Dallas center Cooper Beebe left with an injury late in the game. On defense,
was that during overtime?
It was, I think, at the very end of regulation, or like very close to the end of regulation. On defense, the big ones, Jalen Johnson, Bears cornerback, he left in the first half. Remember, he missed week 1, didn't play much in this game. I don't think he came back.
No, he didn't. Neither did TJ Edwards, the linebacker for Chicago, who also missed week 1.
Okay, and Patrick Surtain left, but he was able to come back. Kansas City cornerback Christian Fulton left. Arizona lost 2 players during the game, cornerback Max Melton and defensive lineman LJ Collier. And Arizona was trying to make everyone who felt bad about their NFL teams feel good about their NFL teams, but it didn't quite come to fruition, as they were able to avoid one of the worst losses you'll ever see. Let's see. Pittsburgh had a couple of defensive injuries, Alex Highsmith and Isaiah Loudermilk. Baltimore had a couple, Kyle Van Noy and Marlon Humphrey. Rams cornerback Akila Witherspoon left with an injury, and Cincinnati defensive lineman Shamar Stewart left with an injury. Mm-hmm. Heath, if you remember, Mike is dismayed that Heath is dissing Drake May. Mike, our St. Jude donor, he's got week 2 over you. Drake May crushing Justin Fields.
So I think I'm 0 for 2 on Drake May this season, and Mike's 1 for 1. If they could play the Dolphins. No, he's 1 for 1 because he was wrong last week and he was right this week.
So doesn't that make him 1 for 2? He's 1 and 1.
1 and 1, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of this. The Patriots and the Dolphins are terrible defensively. Really, really bad. May, I thought, because I watched quite a bit of that game, I talked about last week how he still has like 2 passes a drive that are Patrick Mahomes throws and missed the receiver by 6 yards. And Drake May had fewer of those in this game, but it might have been easier because it was the Dolphins and everybody was wide open. Be interesting next week against Pittsburgh, because we all came into the year thinking Pittsburgh's defense was good.
No,
and
anymore.
They don't seem to be.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to get into more winners and losers. We're going to get into the early look at the waiver wire, buy or sell, and recap all the games. It was a pretty fun week 2. We'll be right back on Fantasy Football Today.
The crowd loves champions. Gladiator 2 is an epic spectacle.
Remarkable!
To amuse you is my only wish.
The glory is yours, not mine.
Very good. Gladiator 2, rated R. Now streaming on Paramount+.
One injury note that I forgot to mention, and I want to say NFL.com has a good list. Dave, thank you for sending this to me. Is Carolina, 2 starting offensive linemen, a guard and a center, Rob Hunt and Austin Corbett, left with injuries, did not return to the game for Carolina. All right, let's get to some winners and losers. Is Jamie here yet?
No.
Almost. So close.
You're a jerk for starting so early. And then chat thinks you're a jerk for starting so late. So either way, you're a jerk.
Thanks, Mom. Okay, let's go to Dave's winners. Juwan Johnson, 50. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. This is the wrong segment. But I think the right name, early waiver wire. Can we get some early waiver wire names?
Well, Juwan
want us to give our winners
already.
Yeah. So wait, Juwan Johnson is not an early waiver wire guy, Dave, or he is?
No, he should be. He's had 2 good weeks in a row. This is following the trend of Kellen Moore and what he does at previous stops and leaning on his tight end. He actually did lean on Alvin a little bit more in the passing game as well. The Saints seem to be competitive offensively. Looks like they picked the right quarterback to start the year. I don't have a problem if you've been or want to start streaming Juwan Johnson, but he should be rostered in every league.
Any other players for the early waiver wire? And
one of my big winners, Troy Franklin. I'm not sure where that came from, but it's early enough in the year, and he's a high enough pedigree prospect that I think we have to pay attention to it a little bit. Completely dominated targets in this game, had 9 of them, caught 8 of them. Things went well. Maybe they'll throw it to him again.
As I recall, he played more snaps last week than Mims. This week, he played 43 snaps, and Mims played. Okay, I don't know if this is right. Sometimes the information is wrong, like right after the game, but I'm seeing 43 snaps for Franklin and 18 for Mims. And those 43 snaps and 26 routes, from what I see, lead the team. So this week in week 2. Now, I'll check on that tomorrow for Beyond the Box Score and make sure nothing's changed. But this is a guy who was a teammate of Bo Nix's at Oregon.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they've got a little chemistry there. So Juwan Johnson, Troy Franklin. Jamie is here. What's up, Jamie?
Hey.
Got any early waiver wire suggestions? I'll throw you right into the fire.
I don't know who you talked about already.
Juwan Johnson and Troy Franklin.
Those would be 2 very good ones. There's not a lot of great running backs. I already started making a list to write the column for tomorrow.
What about Chris Rodriguez? Does he
obviously the quarterbacks? I'm curious what they're going to do with Rodriguez or McNichols. Who's going to take that Eckler role? Or are they just going to give it to Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt? Obviously, you got to look at Romeo Doubs and Dontavian Wicks with the Packers, given the injury to Jaden Reed. All those great tight ends, they disappeared this week, right? Except for Juwan Johnson. So quarterbacks. I mean, it's a quarterback week, So we'll see how things finish with the next 3 games. But if Michael Penix comes out of this game with a strong performance, then he's going to be very popular because he's 60% rostered.
All right,
and
yeah, go ahead.
Like, I think Jake Browning, obviously in super flex and 2 quarterback leagues. I was thinking about, like, the Packers defense is so incredible that you probably just don't want to start any Browns. But Harold Fannin was better than David Njoku for a second week. Mm-hmm. And the big performances the Packers have given up the first 2 weeks were Sam Laporta having a great game in week 1 and Zach Ertz having a great game in week 2. So Harold Fannin might still be an okay option.
And this week, Fannin had a 49% slot rate, which is very high, very good for a tight end.
And I think his targets were a little low because he was actually the target on the Cedric Tillman touchdown.
Huh. Well, that was some touchdown. If you started Cedric Tillman, and he was started in only 8% of leagues, really. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say Cedric Tillman still deserves to be part of the waiver wire discussion. Yeah. He's only 46% rostered, and he can get the targets.
But
yeah, so
you could probably wait a week.
Oh, Wan'Dale Robinson. Hello.
Yep.
Career game for him.
Russell Wilson, obviously. Mr. Unlimited.
It's the Chiefs next week.
Yeah, great throw at the end there. Just bench him already.
Bench him? He threw for 450 yards.
Yeah, he had it. Let him go out on that note.
They let Jackson Dart go out there, and he tripped over the 35-yard line.
That made no sense to me. No sense to me with 4 minutes left in the whatever it was, 3-4 point game to put him out there.
No, I'm not going to get into that, but if he didn't trip over his own feet, he's a better rusher. So they were just using him for like a read option kind of play. But anyway, winners and losers. Jamie, Jared Goff. Dave actually talked about him at the top of the show, but I'll just ask you guys, do you feel comfortable starting Jared Goff outdoors? For example, next week at Baltimore.
I did my early quarterback rankings. He's not in the top 12. It's a matter of matchup on top of, situation. And the Ravens have kicked his butt, quite a few times. So no, but clearly if you lost Burrow or Fields, and I know I have one league where I have Fields and Goff. If I can't find somebody better than Jared Goff, I'll start him next week and just hope that, what we saw this week was really more of what the Lions look like as opposed to what we saw last week. And look, let's face it, the Ravens defense 2 weeks ago was good for 2 quarters, maybe 3 quarters, and then they got exposed, and then they played the Browns. So can Goff have some success? I think he could be in that 18 to 20 point range, but it's just not a lot of confidence. I mean, this was just a perfect setup. I certainly didn't expect this, and I thought I was going to get unlucky because you get the 2 times where they fell down at the 1 yard line early in the game, and they did whatever they wanted to against Chicago. And so again, I don't know how much of this is indoors, outdoors, Packers, Bears. It just was the perfect setup for Jared Goff this week.
All right. Jamie's other winner is Odunze. Same game, started in 24% of leagues, gets 11 targets. Huge game for Odunze, 7 for 128 and 2 on 11 targets. And that's 20 targets in 2 games. And let's see, just curious, DJ Moore has 11 targets in 2 games. So I'm going to go a little buy or sell here, Jamie. Buy or sell, Odunze is the best Bears wide receiver rest of season.
Buy. This is the guy that right now Caleb Williams is locked in on. And, the question coming into camp, the question coming into the start of the season was, who's going to be the number 1 guy for Ben Johnson? Was it going to be Moore or Odunze or Burden or Zacchaeus or Loveland or Komet? And I think we have our answer through 2 weeks. Odunze is set up for a second-year breakout, and we're seeing it through 2 games. He's got the touchdowns. Clearly, he's got the target opportunities right now. And so I think this is just the guy that Caleb Williams is leaning on. So this isn't a, huge knock on DJ Moore, I think yet, but if you're considering him a starter in 2 receiver leagues, I would look elsewhere. I think Odunze has now, put himself in that, range of must-start wide receivers in a 2 receiver league.
Rest of season, all of you can answer this. Odunze or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I'll still take Marvin.
I kind of feel more excited about Odunze. As big of a train wreck Caleb Williams has been, Jamie's 100% right. And you saw it a little bit in the preseason, certainly in training camp. Odunze is the downfield guy. He had an ADOT today of over 18 yards. So I don't know if that's necessarily sustainable, but they've got plays drawn up for him. And the plays that they have drawn up for DJ Moore are just mostly short and intermediate throws, more short than intermediate. And I could see Odunze having more high volume target games. And, Kyler through 2 weeks just hasn't been great.
Okay. I'll say Odunze.
Oh, okay. All right.
They're both number 3s.
They're both number 3s. Dave's winners, Juwan Johnson.
Odunze is a number 3. I don't think it's going to end up that way.
All right, Juwan Johnson now has 20 targets in 2 games, just like Odunze. He goes 5 catches, 49 yards, and a very nice touchdown on 9 targets. Rest of season, Juwan Johnson or David Njoku?
I'll take Juwan.
The targets favor Juwan.
I wish they'd trade Njoku.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I thought you were going to say Juwan or Kelsey. But
sure.
I think that's kind of obvious at this point.
Is it?
I think it is. I think Kelsey's toast.
I mean, if he catches that touchdown, I wonder how people feel differently.
Yeah. If he could catch that touchdown, we wouldn't think he was toast.
Correct.
Okay. You're anybody? All right. Let's
I'd still take Kelsey over Johnson rest of the season.
Yes.
Javonte Williams is Dave's other winner. He is 72% started. 18 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown. 6 catches for 33 yards against the Giants. He's at the Bears next week. Is this legit, or is he the best sell high candidate in the world history ever?
I'm still not sure you're going to get a ton in trade for Javonte Williams. You'll get more this week than you did last week. But I think the Cowboys actually made a great call. He's, without question, their favorite running back. They prefer him. He had a good running day against the Giants defense that really, I don't think they're that great. I think their pass rush is good, but they haven't really shown it that much through the first 2 games of the year. But he also caught 6 passes, 7 targets, And Cowboys, I think, are going to be in a lot of competitive games. He's their guy. I think he's at minimum a number 2 running back moving forward.
Makes me a little encouraged for Isaiah Pacheco next week, because this is now 2 games in a row where the Giants' run defense has looked bad.
It
Should be a good game for Kareem Hunt.
Yeah. Pacheco's the worst. Oh, I hate myself. I just hate myself. Oh, God. So bad.
You know what Javonte and Kareem Hunt have in common?
They both beat the Giants in weeks 2 and 3.
No, they both dominate for their respective teams on 3rd downs and near the goal line.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders did have a touchdown inside the 5.
He did. But Javonte had half of the snaps inside the 10, 9 of 14 on 3rd down, played 71% of the snaps.
Has Miles Sanders outscored Javonte or Isaiah Pacheco this year?
Yeah.
I think that's a yes, even with the fumble.
Bro, I outscored. All right. Heath's winners are Troy Franklin, who we talked about, and Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers has a 42.6% target share, which is actually 2nd in the NFL behind
JSN?
Correct. Finally, you got one right. All right. But Zay Flowers, pretty good. 7 for 75 on 11 targets against the Browns.
It's another game where Mark Andrews is basically irrelevant, and Zay Flowers is dominating targets. And we were like, anybody who said last week, well, we've seen games kind of like this from Zay Flowers before, and then the next week he goes back to 6 targets. Like, that had happened. It hadn't been quite as good as last week. It was a career high in yardage, but now he's stacked double-digit target. We have 10 last time, or was it just 9? Anyways,
9.
20 targets in his first 2 games with Lamar not throwing hardly at all. Fantastic.
Odunze or Flowers rest of season?
Flowers.
I'll say Flowers.
I'll say Odunze, just with the idea of what happens when Likely comes back.
Would you trade Zay Flowers right now for TreVeyon Henderson?
No.
If I needed a running back, yes.
Okay. Let's go to the losers. Heath's losers are a guy who may have lost his starting job, Tyrone Tracy Jr., and Ricky Pearsall. So in the second half of the game, plus overtime, actually, I don't think the Giants had a run overtime, but second half and overtime, Cam Scadaboo had 6 carries. Tyrone Tracy had 1. So you have Tracy as a loser and Pearsall. Go for it, Heath.
Tracy said they should run the ball more, and they did, just with somebody else. I think at the very least, it seems like Cam Scadaboo is probably going to be the short yardage back.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he's a better rusher than Tracy is. So Tracy might end up in that 1B role with more of the passing work, and I certainly wouldn't want to start him next week. And Ricky Pearsall is very exciting and very good, but the problem is the first 3 quarters of week 1, Juwan Jennings had more targets than him, and then they played together in week 2, and Juwan Jennings had more targets than him. And I'm not sure we get Brock Purdy back a lot sooner than we get George Kittle back. And it's hard to be the number 2 wide receiver on a team with Christian McCaffrey and Mac Jones as the quarterback.
Does anybody like Jennings better than Pearsall?
No.
I'm probably going to project him to have more targets next week. I don't know how we couldn't.
I see your point. 10 targets for Jennings, 6 for Pearsall, and last week, did you just say this? I know you said it this morning.
Last week, I don't know what the total was through the first 3 quarters, but I think it was 22% target share for Jennings and 13% for Pearsall.
I wonder how much of this playing time incentive for Jennings. I mean, he looked like he couldn't walk at one point, and then he came back in the game, scored a touchdown. How much is he just going to fight through these injuries?
Dave's losers are TreVeyon Henderson, we talked about, and Travis Hunter, who ran 27 routes compared to 42 for Brian Thomas Jr. He had 3 catches for 22 yards on 6 targets. He only has 55 yards on 14 targets through 2 games. So Travis Hunter is your second loser after TreVeyon Henderson.
Yeah, I think it's time to put him on the bench, kind of give him the same treatment that we're talking about for RJ Harvey and TreVeyon Henderson. And you just got to wait it out a little bit. I like that he's involved in the offense, but Jacksonville's got a bunch of problems. Brian Thomas Jr. isn't making huge plays. Trevor Lawrence is inconsistent. He did a lot of good things today. He had a couple of great throws, but he also had a couple of terrible throws. And I think Hunter's kind of just not being used like a typical wide receiver. He's just getting a lot of short throws right now. His longest catch on the year, 2 games, 14 targets, is 10 yards.
Yikes.
So
Is he
until
okay?
that change a little bit, I can't start him.
I didn't see any injury report, but he was definitely limping and kind of talking to somebody.
I saw
on the
that
sideline.
in the second half. Someone said that it might have been a cramp.
Oh, okay.
But then he was playing defense at the end, so
Right.
or trying
He
to at
was.
least. I think the
Went after him.
again, it's hard to play the what if game, but 2 of Lawrence's interceptions so far on the season would be touchdowns for Travis Hunter. The one last week against the Panthers where J.C. Horn intercepted it, would have been a long touchdown, and then the one in the end zone this week was a target for Travis Hunter as well. So he's clearly been disappointing, and I don't think anybody can start him. Certainly not next week against the Texans. But I do think that there's some signs of life. And to Dave's point, Brian Thomas Jr., Liam Cohen was asked about him alligator arming that one play where Lawrence had the interception, and Cohen basically said, I need to go back and look at that and see exactly what happened. So there's some disconnect right now between the team and Brian Thomas, and it does not look good. So he's looking like a potential bust right now. Hopefully things turn around for him because there's so much talent potential there. But it's 1 week was okay, maybe just bad start. It's now 2 bad games in a row for Thomas, and you got to be a little concerned because of what the Trevor Lawrence Thomas connection wasn't great last year and not great so far this year.
And Houston, San Francisco, Kansas City coming up.
Yeah, San Francisco doesn't worry me as much. We'll see about Kansas City. Next week's going to be awful.
Awful. Well, I'm pretty sure he destroyed the Texans last year, if I recall.
But he was maybe with a better quarterback. I don't know.
Okay, so Brian Thomas. So all right, he's one of Jamie's losers. I think we just covered it there. But if I were going to ask you for, all right, how about you wouldn't start? You wouldn't rather have him than Jamar Chase, would you? Given the Burrow injury,
Thomas?
Right? Yeah,
Thomas or Jamar Chase?
well,
I might rather have T. Higgins.
I would not rather have T. Higgins with the Chase.
You can go to Odunze. Like that's the level where
Oh,
Brian Thomas is.
come on.
No, I'm not saying I would do it, but that's the level where through 2 weeks, who's been better?
No, he's been bad. I understand, but this is where you buy low if you believe in a guy.
I agree with you, but I don't think you're putting Brian Thomas and Jamar Chase in the same category.
First name that came to my mind, Brian Thomas Jr. or Tyreek.
AJ Brown.
Oh yeah, AJ Brown. Who are you more worried about?
Thomas.
I'm more worried about Brown.
I'm more worried about Thomas than Brown.
Would you try to turn Tyreek Hill into Brian Thomas Jr.?
No.
I would. I still think all those things we were concerned about with Tyreek Hill are still there.
Sure.
He had 100 yards today. That was awesome. Boy, they throw to Achane so much, though. It's insane.
Achane's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Jamie's other loser was Breece Hall. 10 carries, 29 yards, 2 catches for 9 yards in a loss to the Bills. Everything was bad for the Jets today, including Breece Hall. What do you think about him going forward at Tampa Bay next week?
If Tampa Bay's run defense comes out of this game looking good and it's Tyrod Taylor, I'd be a little concerned about Breece Hall. The thought for me coming into the season was the Jets were going to be bad. And, how much of this is, again, the Steelers are just bad. And the Jets just took advantage of a bad Steelers defense last week. I don't think the Jets are going to be this bad every week, but, they ran into a good team and they struggled.
All right. So we're on alert here with Breece Hall maybe for next week. We're going to take a break. We got some buy or sell from our audience. And that'll be up next on Fantasy Football Today. Be right back.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
Okay, we're back. Buy or sell from Fantasy Guru. Buy or sell. Hunter Renfrow is
Sell.
7 catches, 48 yards, 2 touchdowns on 9 targets. Hunter Renfrow's a flex rest of season. Okay, sell. We're selling.
So if you were to say the short term, I could buy that in a deeper league.
Okay.
Maybe a bye week replacement wide receiver.
Buy or sell from Ryan. We cannot start Courtland Sutton until further notice. 1 catch for 6 yards on 4 targets.
Bye. I'm sorry.
So
Right.
we're going to start
He
Courtland
have
Sutton next
like
week.
9 targets, 6 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown last week.
Yeah.
That is exactly what he had.
Yeah,
And next
pretty
week
tough.
they get the Chargers. All right, buy or sell. We got a lot of Colts ones here from Shaq. Indiana Jones. Are people calling him that?
Yes.
Okay. Indiana Jones, Daniel Jones, is the real deal.
The real deal?
Please don't. Oh man, I'm not saying you can't buy it because you'd be wrong. I can't have you buy
He's
it.
this year's Sam Darnold.
It's gonna break my heart, my brain. It's just if he's good.
Yeah. What's wrong with Brian Dable?
He's not Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell. Okay, Daniel Jones.
Nobody wants to answer.
I'll buy it.
Because he's only 44% rostered, folks. He scored 24.8 fantasy points against the Denver Broncos. All right, next buy or sell.
Titans next week. I mean, it's a great setup.
Buy or sell is Tucker Kraft. Oh, wait. From Sean. Daniel Jones is going to be a problem for Jonathan Taylor, similar to Jalen Hurts' impact on Saquon Barkley.
He wasn't a problem today.
Yeah,
Are you
so-
kidding me?
In fact,
Well,
he helped them.
he scored 3 goal line touchdowns this year, right? So I think that's what we're getting at here. I think they've all been from the 1 yard line. If it's not the 1 yard line, I don't think he's going to score. I could be wrong about that.
I mean, I would trade, and I may be wrong on this. I would trade Taylor's role at the goal line for his involvement in the passing game all day long.
Of course.
He's 5 catches in 2 games. He's not tearing it up, but yeah, he had the
Better
wide
than
open.
what it was.
It's a functional offense.
It really is.
Mhm.
Okay, buy or sell. Tucker Kraft and Jameson Williams. Are they buys or sells?
They're buys.
Okay.
I would probably buy Kraft and sell Jameson.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going to. If you get a chance to sell high on Jameson Williams, that would be the move to make. I don't know who's going to like chase after JMO after the stat line that he had.
This is now a season and a game of him just being dominant at home. And
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna get this type of production every home game, like why would you not start him?
He had 4
Well, but
targets.
there's a difference between starting him and then like giving up a good player for him.
Yeah, he had 4 targets. How many did Goff threw? 28 passes.
Right.
2 catches, 108 yards, and a touchdown for Jameson after he had 6.6 fantasy points last week on 5 targets.
The
That'll
other
be
2
probably bad
targets that he had, by the way, like
Well,
they
if
were
you think
just
he's gonna- hold on.
bad
If you think he's going to be
throws.
bad this week, sorry, Dave, then you shouldn't be saying buy. You should be saying sell.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's talk about Kraft for a second, because I think this is legit. If you've got him and you don't have any other tight end, I think you've got like top 5 fantasy tight end rest of the way. I would not try and get rid of Tucker Kraft unless you also have Bowers and McBride. One of those 2.
Who is tight end 3 right now? Rest of season for
I think
you?
it's got to be Kraft.
Tyler Warren.
I think I'd rather have Kraft, and I love Tyler Warren.
I am liking what we're seeing from Tyler Warren. I
That's
think
good.
Laporta's got a case too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's one of them.
Today, you were right about that.
What'd you say?
You were right about him having a dud today. I said everybody in Detroit had a big game,
It's okay.
but Laporta didn't.
Oh, here's one from
It was the opposite last week. He was the only one that had a good game for Detroit last week.
here's one from the mug. Quinshon Judkins is a flex at worst going forward. Buy or sell?
Do you want to flex him against the Packers?
No.
So I guess that'd be a sell.
Let's take a more rest of season approach though to Quinshon Judkins. He's what?
A great
is a-
quarterback to have on your bench.
High end flex RB2.
Yeah.
I would probably just call him a flex without saying at worst.
It was a blowout game in the 4th quarter. He had 35 yards on 3 carries and an
In the
11-yard catch in the
With
fourth.
no training camp and no practice time.
Right.
Although he may have a few blowout games in the 4th quarter this year.
Yeah, Jerome Ford still worked as the holy moly. Oh, Bijan. Jerome Ford still worked as the third
back.
down back in this game.
Yes, he did.
And Dylan Sampson did not have a lot of snaps in this game.
No,
He scored a
Judkins actually played more snaps.
Scored a touchdown. That was ridiculous. Yes, he scored a touchdown. It was a little ridiculous. Okay, almost touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins had one. Mark Andrews had one 2 plays later. Almost touchdowns there. Chris, I didn't see this. Dave text I am me that Chris Olave dropped a touchdown. I didn't see that. That happened. Oh, bummer. Patrick Mahomes missed Tyquan Thornton for what should have been a 75-yard touchdown, and then he was like, "Oh, yeah, we'll just do the 49-yard touchdown instead." Jatavian Sanders dropped a touchdown. It was not an easy catch, but it was a great throw in the end zone. And then a few plays later, Chuba Hubbard caught a touchdown. Brian Thomas Jr. actually almost had a touchdown. He couldn't get his second foot in bounds. And then on the next play, De'Ami Brown dropped a touchdown. Cedric Tillman's touchdown should have been an interception. And Marvin Harrison Jr. drew a 38-yard pass interference penalty. Then he was targeted on a fade in the end zone, had it knocked out of his hands. So it was close to having some impactful plays. Let's get to the games. Buffalo 30, Jets 10. Heath, are you ready?
Am I ready?
For believe it or not.
Garrett Wilson is just a number 3 wide receiver.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it with Tyrod.
I think he'll be a low end number 2 receiver.
He played most of the game with Fields.
I think he had more production with Tyrod than he did with Fields.
Right.
So.
And he had 4 catches for 50 yards on 8 targets. I don't know why he'd be better with Fields than Taylor.
I've got 2 for this game.
Okay.
And maybe he is the number 2 receiver.
Keon Coleman fooled you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the fooling was by the Jets offense. It wasn't by Keon Coleman.
So he was not
games where the Bills were able to run it.
Yeah. He was not shadowed by Sauce Gardner, but he obviously saw a decent amount. We only had 25 passes. This is what we kept saying throughout the week. Josh Allen threw 46 passes last week. That almost never happens.
This week was much closer to his season average in pass attempts than last week was.
Yes.
Sure.
Yep.
And what did Coleman had 3 targets. So did Palmer. Shakir had 2. Kincaid had 6.
Knox had 5.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Shavers had 2.
And they won by 20.
9 pass attempts for Josh Allen in the second half.
So what does this mean for Coleman? We just pick the matchups?
I think you have to.
I think he'll end up being one of these guys that is startable in 3 receiver leagues with a flex in PPR until he proves that he can do what he did in week 1 more consistently. Like, he's got such a great matchup Thursday night against the Dolphins. It's hard to say you're going to completely avoid him. But if he does not do anything against the Dolphins because of a similar game flow like this, then he's going to be somebody you're going to look to stash on your bench until you start to see a little bit more consistent.
Sure. That might be fair. He's got New Orleans and New England 2 games after Miami.
Ooh, nice. This is a horrible game for the Jets. They had the ball for 21 minutes and 39 seconds. I mean, by the way, Garrett Wilson, his production came against, I think, a lot of backups for the Bills in the 4th quarter.
I think the Bills defense deserves a ton of credit. They really played a great game today. I didn't think they'd be quite this good.
Detroit
had Oliver
52, Chicago 21.
I feel like we've talked about most of the Lions. As frustrating as he is to watch, Caleb Williams is a starting fantasy quarterback.
I think he is a starting fantasy quarterback.
He's in the range.
I mean, we've lost 2 potential starting quarterbacks for who knows how long. You've seen some signs of life. Certainly last week was much better than this week, but still. And I think just looking at it, like, next week's not a difficult matchup for them.
They got Dallas.
Russell Wilson just killed them.
Sure.
Okay. And we talked about Odunze versus DJ Moore. Colston Loveland's already 61% rostered, so it's not like people haven't already dropped Colston Loveland. And I think it's going to continue as he had 1 target.
Right.
I think let's talk about David Montgomery. What you're thinking about him: 11 carries, 57 yards, and a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs had 12 carries and 3 catches. Heath, how you feeling about David Montgomery?
I feel like he is a high-end flex. And I kind of feel like, based on how the early part of this game went, that how close the carries were was reflective of how not close the game was. And it's a little more of a split than it has been in the past.
60% of the snaps for Gibbs and 40% for Montgomery. You know who dominated inside the 5 as far as snaps go for Detroit. I think with Montgomery, it's easy. Like whenever it's a favorable matchup, you think the Lions are going to put up a lot of points. He's an easy start, like a number 2 running back. Against Baltimore next week, I don't feel that. Week after that, they've got
Cleveland.
That's going to be.
I mean, the difference between this week and last week was 3.8 fantasy points.
Yeah, that's not nothing.
Right.
He had some more catches last week. All right, that's it for that game. Baltimore 41 and Cleveland 17.
Harold Fannin over David Njoku and Mark Andrews rest of season.
I mean, if Isaiah likely returns next week, Mark Andrews is droppable. If he's not droppable already.
Yeah, like I don't even think likely matters.
I don't disagree with you. I just think, there's. So we just had this week of great tight end production in week 1. And then we had this week of a lot of 4 for 40s, for a handful of guys, the Theo Johnsons of the world. So if Juwan Johnson's still sitting out there and you were waiting on Mark Andrews, that's an easy switch to make. Harold Fannin, I would say, is an easy switch to make. If you don't have that, like, I guess you can, pivot to whoever you think is better out there. The Brenton Stranges and the Hunter Henrys who disappointed this week, but we're still better than Mark Andrews. So yeah, it's hard to make a case for him at this point. It's just tough. I do hope that likely does return though and can make an impact to give us another option at that position.
Okay, so also looking at this game. I think
if you told me the Ravens scored 41 points, I would have told you Derrick Henry had a monster game.
Derrick Henry had his worst game since week 3 of the 2023 season against the Cleveland Browns when he scored 2 fantasy points.
Not hard for them to tackle him. They
backed it up.
They had plenty of success tackling him.
They honestly have possibly an amazing run defense. They had a good run defense last year. They spent their first 2 picks.
Yep.
Yes, I'm missing one on a defensive tackle and a linebacker.
Yep.
And a great pass rush.
Yeah, they're thtough. They've been tough the first 2 weeks.
Just gave up 41 points.
They were not tough.
And other than that,
Lamar's
they're on the field the entire time.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Had more time of possession today.
All right. Next game is Cincinnati 31 and Jacksonville 27.
Travis Etienne over Chase Brown rest of season.
Oh,
not there yet.
Yeah.
Tootin looked good.
Tootin did look good.
He did.
But so did Etienne.
Etienne looked good.
Yeah, Tootin 75% rostered, had 10 touches, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Etienne, 14 carries, 71 yards. That gives him 30 carries for 214 yards, I believe, this year.
That seems good.
5 more catches. So he's been terrific through 2 games. I mean, I think I'd go Etienne over Chase Brown at least until Burrow's back. That's my.
And that might be the whole season.
Yeah, well, let's not say that.
Bengals run blocking has been a problem the first 2 weeks, for sure.
It's horrible. Every year it's horrible. And they try to run Chase Brown in between the tackles, and it doesn't work.
Welcome to the Zach Taylor experience.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, question. Would you try to trade T. Higgins coming off a game where he caught a touchdown?
Who's buying T. Higgins at fair value if Joe Burrow's out for several weeks?
No one.
You're not going to get like what you would normally get. All right, forget it. Bad question. Rams 33, Titans.
I guess like if you still believe in TreVeyon Henderson and RJ Harvey and you could turn T. Higgins into those guys, then you should be trying to do that.
Whoa, wait a second. I'm turning T. Higgins into guys who aren't playing right now?
No, if you still believe in those guys. So like if you're still very much in the camp of they're going to eventually turn into superstars and you're worried about Jake Browning being the starter for the Bengals, then I mean, I wouldn't do it straight up, but I would try and maybe do that for a package. I'm not saying I'm doing that. I'm just saying if you believe in those running backs so significantly, then you're buying low on players that have the potential to be great, and you're selling high on a guy that's got an injury track record and a backup quarterback.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely trade Matthew Golden for T. Higgins to answer Jimmy's question.
Yes, now that is the smart way to go, is to buy low on T. Higgins.
Yeah, but he just scored, so everybody that has T. Higgins isn't going to give him up for
So
nothing.
there were reports over the weekend that Xavier Worthy could possibly be back next week. Would you rather have T. Higgins or Xavier Worthy?
I would be worried that Xavier Worthy's shoulder is going to be an issue at some point again, and you're now 3 games away from Rashee Rice returning. So I would rather have T. Higgins, unless we know that Burrow's out for the season.
4 games.
So T. Higgins.
Now,
T.
Mr. Rapinski's got a great question: Rashee Rice or T. Higgins? And if you tell me Burrow's out for the rest of the season, I'd rather Rice.
Yeah,
By the way, if you're 2-0 now, go try to trade for Rashee Rice.
sure. I think the only teams that are trading away T. Higgins are teams that either get a great offer for him or teams that are loaded at wide receiver.
Okay, I'm not going to give my
So
T.
if that's
Higgins.
you, great. But other than that, I think you're saddled with T.
Rams 33, Titans 19.
Did you see my message in the chat? It's too late. We should have said Eric Iomanner, however you say his name.
I like Io Manor. Yep.
Iomanner.
Io Manor.
That's what somebody said on FFT Dynasty the other day during the waiver wire period.
Oh, is this a believe it or not?
Yeah, he's on the list.
Should be.
13 targets in 2 games, 4 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty ridiculous touchdown. Ridiculous. Bad decision from Cam Ward. Rewarded for it. We shouldn't reward.
Fantastic throw and Mahomesian and another fantastic one-handed catch running on the sideline. He's good.
All right. He's 13% roster. That's a good deep league guy. Devontae Adams with a nice bounce back here. Buy or sell, or believe it or not, Kyron Williams has a little bit of an issue here, and Blake Corum could. What's the best? But believe it or not, it's getting a little. You're getting a little nerve-wracking for Kyron Williams.
He had 19 touches. He got tackled with the 1. I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah. Sucky stat line for fantasy, and his rushing average is at 3.8 through 2 games, but he's getting the work.
New England 33, Miami 27.
Stephon Diggs is working up to wide receiver 3 territory. It wasn't a great game, but
you have to say believe it or not first, or else people are just going to think you're making that statement.
Believe it or not,
There you go. Stephon Diggs is working his way up to wide receiver 3 territory.
Believe it.
I guess.
Who did we talk about earlier as a
I'm
wide receiver?
surprised you're so down on Diggs, Dave, because you were very high on him in this.
I was, and then like just as camp and preseason started to roll along, I started to cool my jets on him. And it's kind of playing out. Like, he's not a very efficient receiver. They're spreading the ball around. Boutte started off the game with a nice touchdown in the first quarter. Didn't get a target after that. That was a little disappointing.
are we going with Boutte now?
Oh, it's Booty. My bad. Sorry.
What was that? You make all the booty jokes, and then you change the pronunciation.
When do I ever make a Quinshon Booty joke?
You called him Phoebe Buffet.
That doesn't.
Well, it was a really disappointing day for Hunter Henry. That sucked. 1 catch for 9 yards.
Yep.
Welcome to the Hunter Henry experience. I think the bigger question here really is do we buy into the Dolphins? You know, are they back to being? I don't know what Tua. That last interception was so bad. I don't know what Tua's doing here.
His
But
last 2 plays, I mean, 3rd and long, and he runs out of bounds, and then the 4th down interception was just awful.
I thought it was a real mixed bag in terms of play calling too. Like, they had some of the old Dolphins plays, and then occasionally it was just like there was absolutely nothing there.
I mean, there's a very realistic chance they lose Thursday night. Shocking that McDaniel's fired on Friday.
yeah, they're playing Buffalo on Thursday.
They might lose by 100.
I don't know. This feels like it might be peak value for the Dolphins guys. Do you feel that way?
I would sell everyone but A-Chain.
Although, if McDaniel's not the head coach, is that a plus for HN or a minus? I would think it's a minus. So, like, if you can maximize his value, which you should be getting a haul in return, like, might be worth exploring.
Sure, if you get the haul.
All right, San Francisco 26.
I
I
think
told you right now.
an interim coach would know how Achan's been successful over the last year.
But they're
and
still
2
they're
games.
0-2, so it doesn't matter, how successful he's been.
Yeah, right. But I don't think they're going to say, okay, the secret to winning now is going to be giving Devon Achan fewer targets.
I don't disagree, but again, it's not like it's translating into wins. I just think that if you're looking at this and we find out Joe Burrow's out 3 months or two months, would you rather have Jamar Chase or Devon Achane rest of the season? And Mike McDaniel's fired.
I would take Achane right now, I think.
Do you guys want the numbers on what Jamar Chase did with Browning? Do we care about this? I mean, I can go.
Today?
Sure.
He had
Yeah.
11 targets today.
Well, I'm talking about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. 11 targets. He had 16 in the game, but 11 with Browning.
There were only 3 games in which Browning, Chase, and Higgins were all healthy. In the first game, Chase had 11 catches, 149 yards, and a touchdown on 12 targets. In the second game, he had 3 catches for 29 yards. In the third game, he had 4 catches for 64 yards. I am almost positive he left that game in the fourth quarter, after which T. Higgins had a very good game, but I don't think Higgins was doing well in that game before the Chase injury. Higgins had 1 bad, 2 kind of bad. Higgins wasn't very good with Jake Browning until Jamar Chase got hurt. And then he played a game without Chase and he went berserk. So that's what happened 2 years ago. Now they had Tyler Boyd 2 years ago. So he was getting some targets too. And they don't really have that right now. All right, where are we here? What was the last game we talked about? Miami. So let's go to our next game is San Francisco 26, those plucky New Orleans Saints 21. But they did lose. They're 0-2. But they're an impressive 0-2. What do we got from this game?
I don't know what to say about this game. We talked about Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall. We talked about Juwan Johnson. Alvin Kamara got 6 targets. Week 1 target concerns were overblown. Believe it or not.
Believe it or not, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that Alvin Kamara is going to continue to get targets week in and week out. Not like 2 targets, more like 6.
Okay, so Olave 10 targets. I like Olave or Diggs.
Olave.
Means 23 targets in 2 games.
Yeah. Does he have 100 yards? Yeah, he's 108 yards, 7 yards on 23 targets. It's awful.
How many yards does Diggs have?
Not as many. Okay. Seattle 31, Pittsburgh 17.
You should, believe it or not, you should sell high on Kenneth Walker.
Oh, man. This was another fooled you, Adam.
Oh, not only was this a fool you, but how about Cooper Kupp? The whole Seahawks themselves.
Good thing you dropped him.
You allowed it. You allowed it. We needed to.
You allowed it.
10-team league, by the way. So
Who'd you drop him for?
Fannin?
Or Hunter Henry. We picked them both up. You had 43 waiver claims in. And 27 of them were dropping Cooper Kupp.
Oh, we also picked up Jackson Dart, I think. So that's looking good.
That was helpful. Yeah, it probably was Jackson Dart for Cooper Kupp. That's what we're going with the rest of the year. I don't care what it really was.
I'll look it up. But yeah, okay. So your thoughts on the I like that. Believe it or not, you should sell high on Ken Walker. He had 13 carries, 105 yards, and a touchdown, and 1 catch for 13 yards.
Zach Charbonnet had 15 carries in the game, by the way.
For 10 yards.
And played more.
Which is exactly like the reverse of last week, except Walker was better and Charbonnet was a little worse.
Charbonnet had more snaps, 55% of the snaps. Walker had 36. Charbonnet played more on third downs, 2 of 3 snaps inside the 10. Walker just had a good game.
Does Caleb Johnson play again?
Oh.
Yes. He had 2 snaps today.
Why is he returning kicks to begin?
Yeah, the kickoff return mistake was so dumb.
Yeah, in case you didn't see it, he let a ball. He's the deep man on the kickoff. He let a ball go in the end zone. Didn't realize it was a live ball. It was recovered for a touchdown by the Seahawks. Cost him 7 points. He doesn't strike me as a guy who should be returning kicks to begin with. But
seems like bad coaching.
Yeah, I mean, we liked Charbonnet going after last week. Who do we like this week? Who do we like going forward? Walker or Sharbs?
Are they playing the Steelers every week?
I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm not asking, are they good? I'm asking, who do we like better? They get the Saints next week and then the Cardinals.
I think you have to look at Walker probably as coming off this game. Who knows what was said, what conversations were had. He got maybe motivated. Who knows? I think you look at him as the better of the two.
But neither one's a must start as long as they're going 50-50.
Yards
Or
before
worse.
contact for Walker was 4. I think that's huge for him, given what we knew about him going into the week.
He had a good game, no question.
Yeah, and I
Yes,
believe it's the second week in a row the Steelers are just getting no penetration against the run with their defensive line. Because didn't Breece Hall have a huge yards before contact last week?
And well, I don't remember that, but Derek Harmon, their rookie first round defensive tackle, he hasn't played yet for the Steelers. All right, the game of the week. Yeah, the Cowboys 40, the Giants 37. What do we got here?
What a great game for you. Like you get the excitement of thinking your team might win for like 15 minutes and you still don't hurt your draft pick. Fantastic.
Could
for
you
the
could you
Giants.
imagine a scenario where a coach
Yeah.
decided with 5 seconds left, or whatever it was, to run the ball to set up a 64-yard field goal?
Amazing. And they
And it
weren't even
worked.
tied. They weren't even tied, that was they needed that to tie the game. It wasn't like it was a luxury.
I mean, that's just so much confidence in that guy. Like, we're not going to throw. Maybe it's like confidence in Dak, who knows? But we're not going to throw. We're gonna run it.
You should have
Set
seen the
up a
defense
64-yard
that the
field goal.
stupid Giants played to allow them to set up that field goal. I mean, they are so ridiculously
Here
dumb.
we go.
Unbelievable to lose that game. Unbelievable. We play so far off the Cowboys where they're just trying to pick up yards to get in field goal range. Unbelievable.
Russ was awesome.
What's our believe it or not?
Believe it or not, you should sell George Pickens as soon as you can. Should I elaborate?
Yeah, I would like an elaboration, please.
Second game in a row where he's third behind Lamb and Ferguson in targets. Had this great game with 9 targets because Dak threw 52 times.
Okay.
Not viewed widely as a borderline number 2 wide receiver. And just scored 17 PPR fantasy points, so you might be able to get that for him.
I think 2 things. One, I don't disagree with you on that, because you could, put him in the sell high candidate for some people that were very high on him. Jake Ferguson is not in the conversation to be the number 3 tight end, but he is in the conversation to be a top 10 tight end rest of the way based on his opportunities the first 2 weeks. And before we get away from Travis Kelce, you mentioned this, Adam, the minute McFadden got hurt last week, Ertz scores a touchdown. I piggybacked off that, which is why I like Ferguson a lot this week. And now Kelce gets that matchup next week.
And by the way, the guy who replaced McFadden, the linebacker for the Giants, he left with a concussion. So they could be on their 3rd string inside linebacker next week.
And shout out to Dan Schneider for talking about slot verticals with Russell Wilson in the Giants system.
Right.
Is Wan'Dale Robinson, huge day.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the guy you want. Forget about if it's fab waivers. Franklin, Robinson, you want to say Ellick in there?
Eric!
Who's your first priority?
Wan'Dale.
Wan'Dale?
Wan'Dale over Franklin.
I think so.
Yeah.
And you have
Much
to drop
more
one of the
reliable
following.
target.
You have to drop.
record.
Would you? Keon Coleman.
No.
Keon Coleman.
Cooper Kupp.
Oh, that's it.
You could drop Cooper Kupp for him. That'd be fun.
Who else is in this range?
Travis Hunter.
Ricky Pearsall. No one's doing it. Who'd you say?
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. Okay.
Browns receiver.
Jerry Jeudy. There you go.
I think you got to put Tillman in this mix too. I'd rather have Tillman than Wan'Dale.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Dylan Gabriel starting moving forward?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess that it should be mentioned that Dylan Gabriel did come in and throw a touchdown at the very end there.
Yeah. Joe Flacco was bad today.
Mm-hmm. If it were week 17 or week 16, a couple games left on the year, they would make that switch, but it's not.
I think the Cowboys defense is probably trash. It was horrible last year. They traded Parsons and they didn't have Deron Bland in this game. So this was literally the best game.
They were picking on Diggs and they were picking on who's the safety?
I don't know, but they all suck. So I'm in a bad mood now talking about this game. Let's take a break and let's come back. And Arizona 27, Carolina 22 when we come back on Fantasy Football Today.
Critics agree Leadman is a hit.
We roll the dice one last time.
Men die. Oil companies don't.
it's just people out there know what I'm talking about, but it's just to know really after week 1 that your team's season is over. Such a horrible feeling for football fans. You wait all freaking summer for football to come, and then it's just over before it even starts.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Your team's undefeated.
Arizona. I do have one good team that I root for. Arizona 27, Carolina 22.
James Conner has just a little bit of a Trey Benson problem.
I think he's got a little bit of an old man playing running back in the NFL problem.
Touchdown dependent right now, right?
Yeah, that's how it really feels.
They had a Trey Benson drive, didn't they? Just throw it to him and throw it to him and throw it to him again.
Maybe. I didn't see enough of the game to know that, but he continued to play in that third down type role. Connor, it was really close between them, actually. 52% for Connor, 46% for Trey Benson. Connor dominated inside the 5. Connor's averaging 3.2 yards per carry over 23 carries through 2 weeks.
But he had to play the Panthers.
And let's give him a break.
He had to use them against Carolina. No doubt. And he's
last week.
San Francisco next week. You
The
might be able
Saints
to
and the
go in.
Panthers, and he's averaging 3 yards per carry.
Yeah, no, that's not a good look. I don't think you can start him against the Niners next week. Seattle after that. I don't love that.
You're not going to start him next
I don't
week?
love that. Here's your sell high.
We're starting him. We're going to start him next
You have
week.
better
No,
options
here's
than James
your
Conner
sell
because that's a
high.
pretty
Sell
good
high.
roster.
All right. Well, that's not a bad call to sell high. But as you recall, in the podcast league, I did draft James Conner. I was so mad. I really didn't want to draft him. And if you remember, I was pissed because the pick before me was Isaiah Pacheco. So nice game. Tedero McMillan, things are looking good there. This was a frantic game for Carolina. Bryce Young ends up throwing 55 passes. They almost erased a ridiculous deficit because it started with Kyler Murray throwing a pathetic interception.
They did everything they possibly can to blow this game. Penalty after penalty after penalty, giving up the onside kick. It was funny because I had and luckily got this right, but like had the Cardinals, the Panthers covering the spread. And as soon as they made it 27-16, I guess it was, I was like, I'm gonna get the backdoor cover here. Like this is gonna work out in such a stupid way.
Almost got the money line.
And they almost win the game.
Colts 29, Broncos 28 on a last-second field goal that came after a field goal was missed, but a penalty was called on the field goal attempt. So the Colts got another chance and they won. What do we got, Heath?
So I was going to say Daniel Jones is for real, but somebody stole that in the segment that you made that's very much like Believe It or Not earlier. And then I was going to say RJ Harvey's droppable in a 10-team league, but you brought that up also. So we don't have any idea who the number 1 wide receiver for the Colts is on a week-to-week basis. Believe it or not.
Isn't it Tyler Warren?
Well, Josh Downs had the most targets.
I think this was a Surtain thing.
He left pretty early, didn't he?
He came back in, but he left for
in.
part of the game.
Well, believe it or not, Evan Ingram's droppable for
Oh,
Jordan Johnson, Harold Bannon.
You can find on them.
Heath, how pissed are you that you went back in on Evan Ingram after you were out on him the entire offseason?
You know, I never quite got him to the top 12, so I'm still okay.
Yeah,
good for you.
But yeah, no, I wish I'd left him at 22 where I had him back in May.
Do you sell high on J.K. Dobbins?
Yes.
I kind of want to ride it out with him. You know what's going to happen. Like at some point, he's going to hurt something and he's out, and RJ Harvey's not going to give him the job.
J.K. Dobbins in a revenge game against the Chargers next week, or James Conner against the 49ers?
Dobbins.
I'll probably still have Conner.
I'll still have Conner too. That Chargers defense is nasty.
Who would you rather have rest of season, J.K. Dobbins or Javonte Williams?
Javonte.
Yeah, I think I'm there.
All right.
Javonte is this year's J.K. Dobbins.
It's just weird because J.K. Dobbins is this year's J.K. Dobbins. I mean, first of all, he's got a much better rush average. Well, I don't know about that. I think he's probably got a better rush average than Javonte. Javonte was good this week. He's on the Broncos. They have this great offensive line. I don't know. I think he's better than Javonte. Remember, they got rid of Javonte and they signed Dobbins. They could have just kept Javonte. So. Yeah.
Well, remember, first they drafted Harvey, so then they signed Dobbins. I saw 2 comments. I'm not dropping Harvey. I'm stashing Harvey. At some point, he's going to be very fantasy relevant. And And then there was another comment: drop Harvey for Tootin. Look, if Tootin's available in your league, then that's the only guy you can drop, I guess. But I would rather have both. So
Yep.
you can stash both. Stash both.
J.K. Dobbins is averaging 4.6 yards per carry. Javonte Williams is averaging 4.6 yards per carry.
Philadelphia 20, Kansas City 17. Last game here. It's got to give me an AJ Brown, believe it or not.
I was actually going to go with Isaiah Pacheco, but I don't believe it. Nobody's doing anything with AJ Brown. Believe it or not, Adam will have a chance to pick Isaiah Pacheco up off the waiver wire in the FFT league this week. Because Jamie's going to pick up a wide receiver.
Oh, right. I believe it or not, I might not even bother.
I'm not dropping Pacheco. He gets the Giants next week.
So listen, AJ Brown, are we convinced he's still a good buy low? He had 5 catches for 27 yards on 8 targets, mostly covered by Trent McDuffie.
Yep. Bye.
Yeah, it was a miserable game for the Eagles, a passing offense.
101 yards for Jalen.
I kind of want to see what he looks like on film before I say bye.
Okay.
He had an insane catch in the game.
Believe it or not, Patrick Mahomes can keep up this ridiculous charade of scoring this many fantasy points in this offense.
Yeah, I believe it. They're not going to rush.
He's going to get Rice and Worthy back.
I mean, I guess if he gets 12 points a game rushing, then anything's possible.
I'm pretty encouraged. I mean, the fact that he's doing this with no Worthy, Worthy should be back sooner rather than later.
You know who he looks like, by the way?
Jalen Hurts?
Mid-season Baker Mayfield.
Mid-season Baker Mayfield. Okay.
Except you're talking about when Evans and Godwin are out, but the Bucs were running the ball. The Chiefs can't do that.
It's a terrible offense. I just hope they don't lose to the Giants. Yeah.
If they lose next week, oh my
God. My prediction is still 2-4 and then 12-5.
Got some news here.
Oh no.
Yeah. From Rappaport. Joe Burrow is feared to have suffered a grade 3 turf toe injury, one that would require surgery and put him out at least 3 months.
Yeah.
God, why? Oh, that sucks.
You know, it was bad when he was helped to the locker room.
You know, I shouldn't have read this.
Arms over trainers.
Did you read something on air what you weren't supposed to?
Maybe. One of the apps I follow just tweeted it. It's not from Rappaport. It's citing Rappaport.
He probably said something on air. Let's see.
Probably, yeah. I mean,
no, it is from Rappaport.
Okay.
With torn ligaments and a severe turf toe injury, Joe Burrow's likely option is surgery. 3 months from now is December 14th. If the Bengals at 2-0 stay alive, Burrow has a chance to be back.
Okay. And Schefter's reporting it too. If he requires surgery, it would be up to 3 months for Joe Burrow. Ugh.
Damn.
Well, look, it's now what? 6 out of 8 starts that Browning. No, this wasn't even a start. If you want to count this, 6 out of 8 games/starts that Browning has scored over 20 fantasy points.
What fab are you spending on Browning in a Superflex league? All of it?
All of it.
Yeah.
You're talking to a guy who dropped Spencer Rattler last week in a Superflex league. So
Did he get picked up?
No one picked him up.
Could we put together like a
Wait.
team?
Did you really drop him with the chance for people to pick him up? You didn't wait until like Friday or Saturday to do it?
No, I had to pick someone up on Thursday, and no one picked him up.
I'd like to go through our leagues and just put together the all Azer dropped them last week team.
I think I dropped him for
It's a legendary list through the years.
We've got Jake Brown. So far, we've got about 36 fantasy points in 2 players. 37.
Let's see. I dropped. Wait, where's my ad drops? I'm in the wrong league. Never mind. I don't know. It's I suck, basically.
Browning is going to go for the most fab in any league, any Superflex league.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's good, man. He's
not good. He's in a great situation.
He's good for fantasy.
I think Adam could score like 16 fantasy points.
Yeah, I got Keyshawn Booty. I dropped Rattler.
Do you have Burrow in that league?
Rattler, the free agent. No, I don't have Burrow.
That's disappointing.
All right.
How many leagues do you have Burrow in?
I have him in 0 leagues. Isn't that incredible how much I loved him? I have him in 0 leagues. How about you guys?
3 that I know of for sure.
He is
I haven't.
Dynasty League quarterback with no backup. He is my Guillotine League quarterback. I believe I have a good backup there.
Are we approaching YOLO tank time?
No, I won this week, so I'm
Well, you played Chris. That's
still very much alive. So I play next week. Let's see.
Oh, would you like to know
We should go.
Would you like to know who's out in our Guillotine League that you're afraid of, Adam?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I believe it was RJ.
He was at the bottom. I was
Adam and I got knocked out in the preseason.
All right, this is exciting.
all right. No one cares. Let's get out of here.
Oh yeah, RJ's below the cut line here. Dave is very close. though.
I know. I'm going to survive. I think. I hope.
Dave, I have Daniel Jones and Joe Flacco, so send me a trade offer.
Okay. I've got a
Okay,
6th-round pick for you. You can send over Jones.
Daniel
Goodbye.
Jones is for real.
We'll talk to you tomorrow with Beyond the Box Score on Fantasy Football
Indiana
Today.
Jones.